Disclaimer. We are not professionals. We are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice. Do your own due diligence and enjoy the video.
What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about digital versus physical collectibles. And look what came in the mail today.
Let's go!
Let's go! You
Got
already
a
know.
fresh Todd Mac.
Yeah, I got the physical Todd McFarlane. I got mint number 936. Pretty clean, pretty clean. And there are 6,500 of those in the real world and 7,500 in the digital world. And the price of the physical, I picked that up for $250. The digital, which has 1,000 more mints, is going for around $8,000 right now. So we're going to be talking about digital versus physical, which one should be more valuable, and just some points we want to go over. So first, we're going to be going over, or I'll just list the points and we're going to go through each of them. Buying and selling, showing off, verifiable, storage, tangibility, degradation, future, and utility. So for the first one, we have buying and selling. What do you think is easier to buy and sell, the digital or the physical?
Definitely digital. This is one thing that, because when Carter picked this up, I was thinking about buying one also because there are multiple listed for a low price. And I think it was even like 400 below the physical floor on like eBay or something. But the main thing that deterred me from it is if I ever want to sell it, which if I got a Todd Mac, I probably wouldn't want to. But if I wanted to sell it, I'd have to go through eBay and all those steps. I don't know all of the details, but compared to Veve and selling other like NFTs in general, it's just a lot easier. There seems to be a lot less steps. And I don't know, I think it's a lot more simple and just makes it easier for people to do in general. So
yeah, and it takes like what? How many seconds to list it, and then
like
it can
5
sell,
seconds,
and you don't have to ship it all out and everything. And then that brings us to our next point, verifiable, because when I'm buying something on eBay, what if it's not even the real thing? Like, what if they send me a rock in a box or something? Like, you never know. So that's like definitely another really good thing about like NFTs and like digital collectibles, because I mean, it's there and you know it's there. Like, that's the real one. That's the licensed one. You don't know if it's made in some random factory trying to like replicate. Yeah. So I think that's another super good point. And then showing off, like this is where digital also takes it by far, because I mean, you can pull out your phone, show off your NFTs to anybody. You can even like, they can check out your profile. You don't even have to like be near them. They can go on your profile, click the picture, look all around it, just like it's right there in front of you. But then the physical, it's mostly things that are like very like special and very like well kept, and you can't damage it in any way. And that's going to bring us to storage in the next point. But I mean, what do you think about that?
I mean, overall, in terms of like flexing, I think just we're already in like a pretty digital age or whatever, but I think as we move even further towards that, profile pic flexing and all of that stuff that we've started to see pop up, I think that's going to be really popular. And most of the time, if you have like really nice, IRL collectibles or whatever, you're going to have to like invite that person over and like go into your vault basically, where like things are being stored correctly. And I don't know all of the details of physical collectible storage, but I know like some examples like Pokemon cards might be a little easier to flex, because I know like what Logan Paul or whatever like wears his like Charizard around his neck. I know I've seen a lot of technology recently, and we even talked about this in one of our videos like a week ago or something, but technology allowing you to like flex your NFTs basically with like a digital screen on some kind of jewelry, or I don't know, there's all sorts of things coming up. But I just think that digital is also a lot easier to show off, rather than like taking your comic that's like triple sealed in plastic around and just like showing it like that. I don't know. So I'm going with digital again. But
so also you said right before the video about like physical and stuff, right after you take it out of the box, it loses value. Like me taking this Todd McFarlane out of the box right here, me touching it right now, I'm losing its value just by touching it like this. And I mean, you that's not what happens with digital, obviously, because you can click it, you can look around at however many, you can just start spinning around over and over and over for hours, guys.
And I think, in the past, Veve, I think specifically has mentioned, maybe other NFT projects too, that they might implement a feature like some kind of like degradation in terms of quality, depending on like how many times you open it or use it. But I don't think that's their goal in general. And even if they did that, I don't know. We'll have to see if things go that direction. I don't think they will. But yeah, overall, that's definitely a positive. Is like, I don't know, if you have Todd Mac on the app, you can set them up next to all sorts of stuff. You can do, you know, take pictures everywhere. Whereas if you buy a real life one, that value is definitely going to degrade the second you take it out of the box. But
yeah. And then for storage, I mean, I have this big old box now that now I'm going to have to put this box, or because I ended up getting 2 of them. You can see in the box over there. I got another one, but yeah. And so now I have to store these, and I don't have a super big place. So now I'm trying to store 2 boxes in my place. And then like, think about if I were to get more of them, which I may have ordered some more. And where am I going to put those? I have no clue. I have no clue. But for digital stuff, like we can have as many NFTs on Veve and just start scrolling through your collection, have as many as you possibly can. Don't have to worry about any type of storage.
Yeah, I would definitely second that, because you guys can't see here, but I live in a shoebox basically. So in terms of trying to store like a life-size statue of C-3PO or something, it's not going to happen. There is literally like, I wouldn't have living or breathing space. So for people in situations like that, I think it's perfect, because you can collect all sorts of things you would never be able to keep in your house. And also in terms of the product, just the, I guess like creative freedom you have with it, if that's like the right thing, but like the scalability, you can make it whatever size you want, you can position it wherever you want. Whereas like if you buy a physical TODD, you're limited to the size you have. You can't make it life size and go around and look at all of the details when they're like scaled up and everything. And so I think that's another aspect where the digital is kind of taking the cake. But
yeah, so next we have utility. And I mean, we don't see a ton of utility right now with the Veve app. We were hoping to get MCP and things like that. But I mean, we can take pictures with it. So that's a utility that Veve has that other NFT companies don't have. What do you think about utility? And also when companies like Marvel can make percentage of every sale aftermarket instead of just the primary market. And maybe we'll start seeing that more with like smaller artists. Like maybe
I would emphasize that more. Like for the smaller artists, just because like it feels a lot better knowing that like they're still making some royalties off those sales. When I hear about like Marvel making the royalties, they have a lot of money already, but it is really nice to see that like implemented into the contracts or whatever for buying and selling. And that's really nice to know. And that's, I don't know, I really like that aspect. But in regards to other types of utility, I'm not aware of a lot of kind of like physical collectible utility. So if you guys are into that world more than us, let us know in the comments below. But I'm not really aware of anything. And so I think that Veve already, with like the movie ticket stuff, the free month or year subscription to like Disney Plus for owning that, I don't know, that stands out to me. And I'm hoping they'll, you know, continue bringing more utility in the future, because I think that's going to be another major aspect of NFTs in general. But yeah, as of right now, I still think they win in terms of utility, just because even the fact that you can use it or like open it and view it without degrading the value, that alone, I think is a little, you know, morsel of utility. So
so that brings us to tangibility. So the ability to actually touch the item. And I can obviously touch this Todd McFarlane, but when you're thinking about collectibles and stuff and touching them, like you're really degrading them when you touch them, which is a pretty big problem. And with Veve collectibles, you obviously can't touch physically, but you can like kind of in a way. I mean, I know all the physical collectors are going to be like, that's not even close. But like when you're scrolling around, it honestly kind of feels like it's there. Like, I mean, it's not there, but you can go around it. You can look at all different things, zoom in, look very closely to it. And then, like you said, you can put in AR and then walk around it and completely take pictures with it. It looks completely real.
That's like my favorite feature about Veve, is the fact that I can have like an entire museum of stuff that I'd never be able to afford in the real world or store in the real world. And I can basically have like an art museum on my phone. And I love like the ability to scale up so it's life size and go around and like look at the details, like the neon labbit, scaling that up so it's like the size of a dinosaur. That is awesome. And then going around and looking at all of the details, because there's all sorts of details on those and all sorts of other Veve collectibles. But I understand the point that, you still can't physically touch it, but I think that like level of interaction with the product is still, you know, it's not the same, but it's very close. And I overall think it's a really nice experience. So it might not win that, but I still think it gives you a very unique experience and a very cool experience. So
yes, sir. And I also think with that tangibility thing, people do like to have their stuff in like their house, because for physical collectors, they have the argument of, what if Veve goes down? Like, what if tomorrow the app doesn't work? Then I can't see any of my collectibles. And in the physical world, they can't really do that. Like they can't be taken away from you. You have them physically there. But next we have future, and that's the last one. We're talking about the future of both of these. So I think over the time, we're just going to keep transitioning into more of a digital world, like we've seen the past even 2 years. Like we're on Zoom right now, and everybody Zooms for their classes now. Like meetings, any type of businesses, they're pretty much all going to more of an at-home online type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned this before for one of the previous points, but as we move towards a more like digital world, basically, I don't think these things are going to go away. I think, we're still in like the beta stages. I feel like I know the like whatever rock NFTs and all those other like original OG NFTs were like the early stages, but I still think we're kind of like working the kinks out. And so I don't know, we'll have to see where things go, but I also think we'll see NFTs just worked into like online contracts or whatever in the future, like using the blockchain, stuff like that, and more practical, non like what is it, asset or collectible or product based. But we'll have to see where things go in general. I do think that we'll be seeing NFTs a lot more.
What we pretty much just touched on, all the other previous points are things that we already have right now. But also the last thing I want to say about future is we might have the ability to play as these characters we're buying right now. So like that kind of ties in with the utility, but that's just like so cool. Cause I mean, obviously if somebody really likes their physical Batman statue, there's like nothing they really have to look forward to except for looking at that physical Batman statue. But like we have the speculation and everything like that there, we can possibly play as this character in the Viviverse. And like, that's another sweet thing to just be able to play as your favorite superhero or favorite cartoon character.
Yeah, I think that is like a major thing to close on is just the potential with these, because you own the asset now, but I do think that they will provide utility for a lot of these in the future in some way. I know Carter mentioned the master collector program, but we've also mentioned like, possible like games that these could be integrated into and stuff like that. So we'll have to see where things go. It's all speculation as of right now, but I do think, we're on the track to see these boys blow up, go to the moon.
Yes, sir. Lastly, we're just going to touch on these comics. These are coming up tomorrow. And then we also have one more thing to show. These comics are coming up tomorrow, though. Tales of Suspense number 77. And the real life value isn't super high. And this is another reason we want to touch on this is because people in the comments were saying you can't compare the 9.8 grade or whatever to digital comics and stuff. And that's basically showing what people are willing to pay in the real world. Like if they're willing to pay $74,000 for the comic in the real world, I'm going to guess the digital is going to have some value because of that. Like,
yeah,
I mean, that's a lot of money,
especially for comics that you like cannot own in the real world, like Marvel Comics #1 or whatever, where I don't know how much it is. I know it's a lot, and I know it's very scarce. So I think Vivi just gives a lot of collectors who are really into that stuff an opportunity to actually own it, which, might be impossible for them in real life. And I don't really see an issue with that. I can kind of understand the argument about comparing a 9.8 to these that don't have that dynamic of like degradation, but I don't know. I still think that the digital asset or whatever will definitely have some value.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And then the last thing we're touching on is the weapons rack. So Matt Godnick was just in Gondik was just in the AMA, and he was talking a little bit about this, and he kind of was touching on it about how like when the riots and things were happening, he wanted something to help defend himself in his house. And he was trying to think of like, what are the things at home that he can defend himself with? And so he picked some of these and then he made them more like visual. And I think these actually sell in the physical world too. So we're basically getting that. And we have to wait and see how many mints there are. Because if there are, say, 100,000 mints of these, then we can speculate that these are probably going to be usable at some point with characters or in the Viviverse.
Yeah, this one definitely, it puzzles me. It gives me like super hot type of vibes in terms of like, if you guys have ever played super hot or like VR games in general, where you're kind of in like a little sandbox type space where you can just like use different weapons and like hit stuff with like, I don't know, what is it, gravity on and stuff like that, or like physics. I don't know. Maybe we can expect something like that, or maybe this is just like a unique small artist collaboration they wanted to do.
Yeah,
don't know,
I
but
think the
it's-
edition size is going to tell us for sure.
Yeah,
If it's high,
definitely
it's
agree.
most likely going to be playable, and if it's lower, it's just going to be probably decoration. There are going to be 4 different kinds, so we have to see what the other ones will look like. Out of the gold and the blue and pink, what one do you like the most?
I kind of think I'm leaning towards the gold. I
I'm
don't
leaning
usually
towards the
do
gold
that,
too. Yeah, I didn't
but
think you were
yeah.
going to say that.
Yeah, I don't know. The blue and pink is cool. I like the cotton candy colorway, but I still something about the gold. I just like that kind of like, I don't know, contrast or the detail or what's up. But yeah.
Yes, sir. So if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the little bell icon next to the subscribe button if you want to be notified whenever we post. This is Veve Vision, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Let's go. OMI homies, let's go.